수다 한 번만 하고.
내가 숫자 세줄게. 자, 둘.
손이다라고 합니다. 일단 헬기가 이민씨 모셔 가면 의자 이문 떨어질 거예요.
The Great Flood is one of those cinematic visions that captures both the terror and awe of nature's wrath, while also exploring the human spirit that emerges when the world is on the brink of collapse. The teaser begins with an almost poetic quietness, a calmness in the soundscape, and the kind of stillness that makes the viewer uneasy, because we all know that calmness is temporary. This project arrives with a unique mixture of survival drama, large-scale disaster spectacle, and deeply emotional storytelling, setting itself apart from the usual thrillers by grounding its premise in characters we can truly feel for. The teaser drops hints of the overwhelming catastrophe to come, while also letting us catch glimpses of the extraordinary production design, the intense performances, and the dark beauty of a world swallowed by water. The cast brings together a powerful ensemble. Leading the story is a conflicted scientist, played by an actor known for bringing intelligence and gravitas to every role, someone whose presence immediately signals that this is not just another disaster flick. It's a story with weight. Alongside them is a determined young woman, portrayed with equal measures of vulnerability and strength, who becomes a heart of hope throughout the narrative. The supporting cast is no less impressive. A weary but brave rescue diver, a mother trying to shield her child from the horrors around them, a soldier wrestling with orders he doesn't fully believe in, and a government official who embodies the tension between duty and morality. Every character feels deliberate, written not just as archetypes, but as reflections of how people truly behave when stripped down to their instincts. The plot unfolds across a near-future world where climate instability reaches a breaking point. Decades of warnings were ignored, and the result is an environmental collapse beyond human control. Torrential rains begin to fall, not for hours, not for days, but for weeks, and then months, until the oceans surge over coastlines, swallowing entire nations. Cities vanish, mountains crumble into rivers, and humanity faces extinction-level flooding. But this is not only the story of the flood, it is the story of those who must decide whether to give up or fight for survival. The scientist at the center has discovered fragments of information that suggest the flooding is not only natural, but has been accelerated by hidden human interference, a revelation that could change everything. This twist adds mystery to the apocalyptic chaos, ensuring the audience is not only glued by spectacle, but also by intrigue. The teaser carefully balances its visuals between breathtaking beauty and horrifying destruction. We see sweeping aerial shots of skyscrapers vanishing beneath rolling tides, neighborhoods transformed into endless lakes, and families clinging to rooftops as the water rises higher. Yet within this devastation, moments of humanity shine through. A child offers their only toy to comfort another survivor. A diver risks drowning to cut a trapped stranger free. A soldier defies orders to save civilians rather than abandon them. These small gestures remind us that even in the darkest waters, light survives. That sense of humanity is what makes this teaser not just a glimpse at a spectacle, but a promise of an emotional journey. The release date is set during a season that feels symbolic, the time of year when audiences are most ready for something bold, something that resonates with global fears yet speaks to personal struggles. Netflix has positioned this project to make maximum impact, allowing viewers around the world to experience the chaos and wonder simultaneously. The timing could not be more fitting, as conversations about climate change, human responsibility, and survival are louder than ever. The trailer itself starts with silence. Only a faint dripping sound is heard, echoing like a countdown in a cavern. Then we see a close-up of a small puddle forming on a wooden floor. Drops continue falling steadily. The camera pulls back, showing an entire home slowly flooding from within. A child's frightened eyes reflect the water as it climbs up the walls. The screen fades to black before a thunderous sound breaks through, a dam collapsing, sending a wall of water roaring across the land. The pace accelerates, showing shots of cities falling, bridges snapping, cars tumbling in waves, and terrified crowds running uphill. As the teaser progresses, the tone shifts to focus on individual faces. The scientist stands on a rooftop, drenched, holding a radio, shouting for survivors. The young woman clings to the diver as they struggle against a current that looks ready to devour them. The mother shields her child with trembling arms as a military helicopter hovers overhead, lowering a rope. We see the soldier hesitate, caught between obeying the voice in his earpiece and the desperate pleas of the people at his feet. Each shot lasts only seconds, but the emotions they carry make them unforgettable. The dialogue we hear is sparse but powerful. A single line from the scientist, "This is the end of the world, but it may be the end of ours," echoes as the waters rise higher. Another line from the mother, whispered to her child, "Hold your breath, baby, and hold on to me." And finally, the teaser ends with a wide shot of an entire city consumed by waves, the camera panning slowly upward to show the last dry mountaintops disappearing beneath endless water. The final words on the screen read simply, "The Great Flood, coming soon." What makes this teaser stand out is not just the effects or the action, it's the fusion of raw spectacle with intimate, human-scale storytelling. Unlike disaster stories that rely solely on destruction, The Great Flood promises meaning behind the visuals. The very idea of water, something that gives life, turning into an unstoppable force of death, creates a haunting metaphor for the fragile balance we've disturbed. The cast's performances, glimpsed in only a few seconds each, already carry weight and authenticity. Their eyes, their voices, their movements suggest a depth of character we're eager to explore when the full story arrives. Beyond the sheer spectacle, The Great Flood raises deep questions. What happens when humanity faces a disaster too great to control? How do leaders act when choices must be made between saving a few or saving many? How do ordinary families hold on to hope when their homes, their neighborhoods, their very memories are washed away? The teaser doesn't give answers. It only asks these questions, leaving us restless and desperate to see what happens next. That is the mark of a successful teaser. It doesn't reveal everything. It simply plants a seed that grows in the mind long after the trailer ends. The packing of the teaser mirrors the disaster itself. It begins with quiet, slowly builds with unease, surges with overwhelming force, and then leaves us in silence once again. The sound design is chilling, blending the roar of water with the faintest sounds of screams, crashes, and collapsing steel. Music is used sparingly, a low, haunting score that swells only during key moments before cutting out completely, replaced by the deafening sound of nature itself. The visual effects are seamless, creating destruction that feels terrifyingly real, but never overshadowing the performances. In many ways, The Great Flood is not just a story about survival, but about transformation. The characters we glimpse are forced to evolve, to adapt, to rediscover courage in impossible conditions. The teaser hints at alliances formed, betrayals uncovered, and moments of sacrifice that will likely devastate audiences. This is not just about who survives, but about what it means to survive when the world you knew no longer exists. By the end of the teaser, viewers are left with images that burn into the mind. A city swallowed whole, a lone figure swimming against impossible currents, a child clutching a soaked family photo as it disintegrates in their hands. These moments feel designed not just to shock, but to resonate emotionally, to make us question how we would react in such a situation. That combination of spectacle and humanity ensures The Great Flood will not only capture attention, but linger long after.